The New York Times just published a piece about the fall of BitBoy, the cryptocurrency YouTuber. So I thought I'd take a moment to reflect on what seems to be the fact that mainstream publications like the New York Times don't show much interest in positive stories in the cryptocurrency sector, and about how damaging that actually is for projects that are working to help people in need. Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm the founder of Seeds, which is like crypto mutual aid, and it's helped people in need in 29 countries and counting. But nobody knows about the project, and part of the reason for that is because of this lack of coverage. So the journalist, I should say, is David Yaffe Bellany. I actually pitched him about 2 weeks ago over email to try and get him to cover Seeds as a counterpoint to the truly awful stories about FTX that he had been reporting on for probably a year and a half or so. But he chose to write this article instead. To be clear, like, obviously a journalist doesn't have to cover anything. Like, if somebody pitches you, I mean, he didn't respond to me. You don't have to respond to somebody that pitches you. But I think that's why this is like sticking in my craw even more so than usual, because decentralized technology makes it possible to help people in need through Seeds in a way that the traditional system truly doesn't. We can help people who are unbanked in places like South Sudan. There's no interest from people like Yaffe Bellany in showing those kinds of stories. Case in point. Let me read you some excerpts from this article. The title is "He's Lost His Marriage, His Followers, and His Lamborghini." The article talks about how BitBoy got a Lamborghini and made his followers believe, quote unquote, that crypto would make you rich and cool and successful. The Lamborghini was vivid proof. It talks about him getting a divorce, his meth addiction in the early 2000s, how he likes his new girlfriend, whom he had an affair with, better than his wife. The new girlfriend is known as the Duchess of DeFi. She's another YouTuber, I guess, who also came to cryptocurrency in 2022, as did David Yaffe Bellany. I think that's also frustrating to me as somebody who's been involved in the sector since 2013, which wasn't even early, but it seems early 11 years later. It's just like every cycle these people come into the sector and some of them are scammy. They tend to show up more so when things are up. But Yaffe Bellany is positioning himself as somebody, like, it doesn't appear to me at all to be objective journalism. He's choosing the articles he's reporting on, and reporting on SBF ad nauseum just became crazy. I remember seeing an article, which was not in the New York Times, and the article was about what was on SBF's desk. It was just so bizarre. Like, why was that reporting interesting? And then the story is about him losing the Lamborghini. He is all that is cringe about crypto, a columnist for the industry outlet CoinDesk wrote. I would argue that he isn't cringe, because cringe is something to take care of and like nurture in yourself. He was just a sad person who appealed to that broken energy, and a lot of other people who've come to the cryptocurrency sector who I guess are looking to get rich quick or whatever. But that is not the singular story of what's possible in the world of blockchain. It talks about how his mistress, Miss Wolf, has been married and divorced 4 times by age 34. The Times wants to report that. I just want to vent and just to voice the idea that why is this the singular story? Seeds is using decentralized technology to help people in need with a focus on women. As I've said, we've helped people in 29 countries and counting. We can help unbanked people because we use decentralized tools. Why is that not a story that merits being covered in something like the New York Times? Why is that not a story that is being uplifted inside and outside of the crypto community? I think a lot about this idea of masculine and feminine energy, yin and yang, which I think is present in people of all genders. But this culture, the society, skews us toward the yang and overly emphasizes the yang to an unhealthy degree. The yin energy is denigrated and dismissed and not given the proper space and nourishment that it deserves, and that we all need to be healthy. If you think about the symbol for yin and yang, they flow together in harmony. They're perfectly in balance. I find myself in this position where it's like there's bad masculine energy in the sector. That isn't to say that all the masculine people in the sector are bad. Again, I'm talking about energies present in people of all genders. This energy comes through a lot of male people as it happens. And then that becomes the focus. And then this male journalist is also focusing on this. Side note, when I first looked David Yaffe Bellany up on YouTube, the first post I found was like a panel discussion where David Yaffe Bellany was interviewing Ben McKenzie, the actor who is best known for being on the OC in like the early aughts, who recently wrote a book about crypto being a huge scam, essentially. Every cycle, what I've seen happen is that, people aren't really paying attention and then things start to come up. That's typically triggered by the Bitcoin halvening. So that typically kicks things off, things start coming up. More people start paying attention to it. It becomes wider known in the mainstream. More people get involved. Then something happens that causes it to downturn. And in the past, it's typically been like frauds and people behaving poorly, almost all of whom have been men. But with every cycle, it's bigger and bigger news because more people in the mainstream are aware that it exists and is a thing. So this coming cycle, as I said, the Bitcoin halvening is expected around April 20th of this year, 2024. If history is any indication, that may spur more upward movement in the cryptocurrency markets. And then there are other supporting events that are likely to bring that about as well, like the expected Ether ETF that people think is going to be approved in May. So we have these signs indicating that things probably are going to start trekking back up. My hope would be that this cycle, a project like Seeds would get a little bit of coverage, that there would be more awareness brought to a project like this instead of, continually shining a light on the awful stories in the sector, which are always about this masculine energy thing and people in that masculine energy space behaving badly. It hurts the feminine. Please stop. I love you. But I need to do this.